Blue Spring by Taiyo Matsumoto. This is the Spanish edition. There's an English one made by Beast Media, and that is out of print. So this is the one I got. It is a collection of short stories by Taiyo Matsumoto, and he is a mangaka that does seinen manga, so it's adult-oriented manga, and he's known for a lot of series. Tekken Concrete, for example, has a movie. Ping Pong has an anime. Sunny's pretty great. I read it. It's excellent. And Gogo Monster, Takemitsu Samurai, I want to read, but haven't had the chance. Also number 5, it's pretty cool. I think it's my favorite film. So this volume collects 7 short stories. It has these colored pages at the beginning, and then stories itself. The first one is "If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands." Like the song. And it's a story that, well, Blue Spring, this manga has a movie also has a movie, and it is called Blue Spring if you want to look up it. And the story, these stories are like 20 to 30 pages. Revolver is 3 chapters, so it's like 60 something pages. And the manga is from the year from the 93. So quick overview about the stories. This one is about a game that is played on schools by these like juvenile delinquents type of characters, and it has to do with them, going on a rooftop, looking at on the void, and then they release their hands from this bar, and they start clapping until they grab again the bar, because they don't want to fall to the void and die. In the meantime, we have the director of the school having sex with his secretary. The art is pretty early Taiyo Matsumoto. This one is before Tekken Concrete, so he's still developing his style, and at this point he has this style of having a lot of graffiti on the back of the characters, on the backgrounds. Well, that's the premise, like the clapping game. There's some guy who is the boss because he has the record, and at some point there's another guy who has a record, so they fight with their own laws. You won't spoil it. Matsumoto has the tendency to draw flowers, I have noticed. Well, story ends. I will not tell you how it ends. You have to read it for you to know, but it's pretty good. It's an okay story, it is what it is. The whole book is pretty slice of life kind of style. Then we got again a group of three good for nothing characters, young delinquent, and they got a revolver from a guy off the street. He gives them a revolver. So here's this guy masturbating, semen, and it is a pretty raw story, pretty raw style, and the style Matsumoto brings to the table. And well, the story is basically that they got this revolver and they start doing things with it. Chapter 1, chapter 2, and I won't spoil like what they start doing, but the stories are pretty pointless. Like you just read them because it's not like you are expecting something. There's never like a tension of building tension for a big climax. That's pretty weird, but it is one of the stuff you like if you read this author. So again, the drawings are good for the style Matsumoto does at this point in his career. Then we have this Summer of Mahjong. It is a game, the game they are playing here. And this is a baseball club, and they lost. So they are now playing this game. And at the same time, there's a radio, and this radio is broadcasting this game of baseball. So the story is basically that, and the characters playing this game and also hearing about the baseball game, talking about their failures, and the drawings are comparing the two of them. And that's the beauty of it, I think. Again, this is pretty classical, like Taiyo Matsumoto page. This style of this form of making the pages, he also does this on Ping Pong number 5, for example. So it's not something really unique to this volume. What I'm trying to say is like is that if you are interested on Blue Spring, is because you already know who Taiyo Matsumoto is. If that is your approach, you will like this book. But I wouldn't recommend this book as a first read of the author, because he has better stuff. He does stuff in here that he also does on other books to a better to better results. This one, Mr. Suzuki, is a story about this young guy who enters the Yakuza. And this is pretty much a origin story or prologue to Tekken Kinkui. That is the manga that Matsumoto made the next year, I think. So again, it is a story about Yakuza. So, you will not find really anything like groundbreaking, right? Of course, the style Matsumoto brings to the table, but nothing wow especially if you have read other works by him. The story Peace is not about peace. Again, it is about how violent things can get in a really short time. I will not spoil it, but it is also good, I guess. Pretty depressing stuff, you know. This one, family restaurants are paradise. It's pretty much these guys who meet up on diners, and they pretty much talk about anything. They get thrown out, and then they go to another diner to do the same stuff. It is a pretty funny story. And that's it. It's a little funny story about doing nothing. And if you like that style of stories, okay. And the final one, this is bad. It's about this guy who wants to meet up with this girl, but he gets on the way of this other guy with the glasses, and he wants to kill our protagonist. And the whole story is a chase. So again, it is like an experiment by Matsumoto to try to make a really good chase. Action-packed, really deformed characters and locations. I really liked it. It's pretty wild. And from what I have heard, I think Tegon Concrete also has a chase chapter. I would like to see that, because if there is, maybe this one will be obsolete. But at this point, I really like it. So again, would I recommend Blue Spring just for Taiyo Matsumoto fans? You know, you have to already know who is he, because otherwise this could be a really strange book for you, I think.